is a special present. This is a special presentation of Victoria Generals Baseball.
Most historic teams in the history of the TCL are the league's two hottest teams as we enter near the end of the penultimate week of the regular season, as your Victoria Generals come in with a 6-game winning streak and sit high and dry at 26-10 overall, the best record in all the TCL. But once again, we'll face off against the defending TCL champion Seguin Monsters, who are continuing to decline at the bottom of the barrel of the TCL at 11-25. And we welcome you back beautifully on a gorgeous night here at Riverside Stadium along the banks of the Guadalupe River, and welcome you to Game 3 of this 4-game series between the Seguin Monsters and your Victoria Generals. Hello everyone, Max Cepeda here once again, making the long hour-and-a-half drive back southeast after being out at Smokey Joe Williams Field in each of the last 2 nights, in which the Victoria Generals pulled off 2 incredible victories, in both of which needing both timely hitting and timely great bullpen pitching to be able to get those 2 victories against a team like Seguin that has been needing wins badly over this last week and a half. But for the Seguin Monsters, they have been battling through it, and even so, they have still yet to been able to get that through their win threshold as they continue to lose. They are now currently on a 5-game losing skid, and so far just in the month of July alone, Tony Perez's guys are currently a woeful 2-8 to begin the month of July. You probably see that picture right in the heart of your screen. Right center is from a picture from last night, and that is Victoria Generals center fielder Damian Whitfield putting second baseman Orlando Samaniego in the spin cycle, and what was one of the more spectacular plays we saw a night ago, and probably one of the more sensational plays we have seen from your Victoria Generals in 2024, as the Generals pulled off a thrilling 7-5 10-inning victory last night that nearly was 4 hours in length at Smokey Joe Williams Field. And really one of the star-studded additions that has really been going through your Victoria Generals side has really been the second half additions. Just looking at these numbers right here, Diego Diaz, Connor Clark, Drew Schmidt, and Ilan Balmaceda are just a few of the names of the new second half signings that you probably remember that at the beginning of the second half, head coach Michael Oros was hoping that these guys were going to fit in to the game plan, see if they were going to possibly meld in with the guys who have been here since the beginning of the summer. But Diego Diaz, the UTSA Roadrunner, in 8 games, you see 5 for 27 with 3 runs scored and a double, including 6 stolen bases from Diaz. And then you got the 2 UT Tyler Patriots. Connor Clark, of course, obviously the male athlete of the year at UT Tyler across all sports. 8 games, 250 the batting average, 5 runs, 7 walks, including 3 for 6 in these first 2 games of this series. He's going to be batting leadoff tonight as Anthony Avalos has the day off for your Victoria Generals. Drew Schmidt, his UT Tyler teammate, in 7 games is 5 for 19 with also 5+ walks and 5 runs, including an RBI and stolen base of his own. And then Ilan Balmaceda had an incredible relief outing last night, 4 1/3 innings of relief. Obviously, 7 1/3 innings is his total through 3 appearances, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and 7 strikeouts in his first 3 appearances as a General on the mound. He has been a star-studded member now, becoming of Michael Oros' bullpen. Time to take a look at the Middle of the Bump, presented by Texas Roadhouse, and you can see the 2 guys on the mound tonight. Hayden Schrotzen returning to the mound for your Victoria Generals, now becoming the weekly Thursday guy. Possibly could be a Game 2, Game 3 starter, possibly for Michael Oros' staff later down the line when it comes to postseason applications for that first-round series, which most likely could be against the Brazos Valley Bombers. Johnson this summer, 2-1 with a 2.25 ERA and 28 innings pitched, 19 hits, 12 walks, and 11 punch-outs. And for Seguin, it is a veteran from last summer, Riley Kettner, who is going to be on the mound for just the second time this summer. He returned to Seguin in triumphant fashion last week, exactly a week ago. However, it was in a veiling effort as he was a part of a 12-3 loss that Seguin had to the Acadiana King Cutters, throwing just 2 1/3 innings and a start. Did Kettner, giving up 2 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned, 4 walks, and a strikeout in just 17 batters faced for Kettner. He's going to look to get back on the right track, considering the fact that he had an incredible outing, or had a series of outings, having 7 appearances last summer with the green and blue. So we are about to have national anthems and a prayer here at Riverside Stadium, but when we come back on the other side, we'll have starting lineups and first pitch for you from Riverside Stadium. But as we go to break, we'll once again show you, as we do every night, the standings across the Texas Collegiate League. Stars and Gens on the other side. We are back along the banks of the Guadalupe River, the 6th to last game in the regular season for your Victoria Generals today and tomorrow, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, Sunday next week are the final 6 days here in the regular season for your Victoria Generals, even though they know that they will have home field advantage for at least the first round of the postseason series. Of course, those are your men on the bump, presented by Texas Roadhouse. Hayden Tronson out of Alvin Community College for your Victoria Generals, and West Texas A&M Buffalo, Riley Kettner, returning for a second summer with the Seguin River Monsters on the mound in his second appearance of the summer in his second season. Let's take a look now. Before we quickly transition to tonight's starting lineups, these are the standings. The Victoria Generals 26-10, 10-3 in the second half, still 5 games ahead overall of the red-hot Brazos Valley Bombers, who themselves and the Baton Rouge Rouge have the night off tonight as bad field conditions due to poor weather earlier today in the capital city have that series postponed and could be having a doubleheader tomorrow. Lake Charles and Acadiana, though, on the other side, they will be taking on each other later tonight. Lake Charles on a 6-game losing skid, and Acadiana back in the bracket. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for this visiting Seguin River Monsters that will be facing Hayden Tronson tonight. Little bit different lineup, of course. The big storyline is that number 3 hole hitter, Xavier Perez, who, of course, so far this summer in just 2 games against these Victoria Generals has already made a statement with that 2-run home run that he hit against these Victoria Generals last night. But now Perez has his official homecoming back here in Victoria for the first time since he was a General last summer. And will be in left field tonight. Adam Peavy was last night's designated hitter, making his River Monster debut. Now he moves up to the cleanup spot at first base. Ryder Hernandez moves down 2 spots to the 5-hole. And then Whit Joyce returns behind the dish for Seguin. He will be at least behind the dish tonight, as well as Colin Correjo, a well-known name from the first half of Seguin's season. He will be sitting in the 9th spot at the designated hitter spot for the River Monsters, but everyone else pretty much the same. That Howard McClellan 1-2 punch, of course, has been there all season long for Seguin, of course, currently coming into tonight, 11-25 overall and 5-9 in the second half. The defensive alignment for your Victoria Generals: Connor Clark in left, Damian Whitfield in center, Diego Diaz in right, Drew Schmidt at third, Riley Bender at short, Mario Mendoza Jr. at second base, Jacob Sanchez at first, Travis Bragg is your designated hitter, and that is Evan S. Laxon making the throw over to second base to end warm-up pitches and officially begin this one. So Tronson, of course, as we mentioned, is on the mound, and Dakota Howard, who for the second time in 3 days, not wearing his traditional number 24, will be wearing the number 9 tonight, as Seguin has been basically tossing through basically all of their starting lineups, at least when it comes to uniforms, specifically when it comes to this variation of their uniforms, their classic road alternates with the blue and splash green on the bottom third of the chest, and we are just about set and ready to go. As Dakota Howard, who's in 24 games, has batted .240 this summer, will start things off, and the first pitch he sees from Hayden Tronson is grounded over to the shortstop side. Riley Bender is at short tonight, will make the easy throw, and it is 1 pitch, 1 out here on this Thursday night. As we mentioned, Anthony Avalos will be out of the lineup tonight, as so is Cameron Nickens, who will be sitting for the first time in the month of July on this Thursday night. So Howard quickly retired on the 1 pitch, 1 out, and Patrick McClellan will now be coming to the dish. He's at second base tonight, which is kind of a new thing for McClellan, considering he's had the majority of his starts, large majority of his starts this summer sitting in the outfield. First pitch to inside for strike 1 to McClellan on the inside slider by Tronson. Only 17 players were sent by Seguin to at least this Thursday contest. We'll see if that number changes for tomorrow's game 4, the final game of this 4-game series between these two sides, or if it will be just this group of 17, which is a very small list. That one is a hot fly ball, but that will stay in the air, and Mario Mendoza Jr. will use his shades and take advantage, and it is 2 pitches for a second out, and just 3 pitches thrown, and already Hayden Tronson working quickly with ease and relying on his defense early, and it's 2 quick outs here, top 1. So now we go to Xavier Perez. His homecoming is now officially being made here in this very moment as Perez steps back in the Riverside Stadium batter's box for the first time since August 3rd of 2023, when he hit a grand slam against these very Seguin River Monsters in Game 2 of last year's postseason series. Now we'll step back into the box to face another TCL vet, Hayden Tronson, as that's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Perez, we've mentioned already, 18 games last summer, batted .318 with 3 home runs, led the Generals in home runs last summer. That third one being the most significant, a grand slam. Tronson sitting on that right center of the rubber, his 0-1. Line drive into right center, and that will go into the gap in right center, and that will go all the way to the wall. Perez rounds first, and he's going to second base. He might be given third, but he'll stop there. Xavier Perez, in his first at-bat back at Riverside Stadium, launches one to the right center gap, and it's a 2-out double for the Sturs. He knows this ballpark better than most, and Perez able to take advantage of this wide outfield in this hitter-friendly ballpark that is Riverside Stadium. Perez already now with his 2nd extra base hit in just his 3rd game in a River Monster uniform. So now Adam Peavy, last night's designated hitter, will come back to the dish. Peavy, a night ago, making his debut, was just 1 for 4 with a run scored and a walk. So that one is on the outside half. No call from tonight's home plate umpire. It's ball 1. First ball of the night thrown by Tronson. But now quickly a go-ahead run now sits in scoring position after the 2-out double by Perez. Tronson's 1-0. Just on the inside half, but basically right down Main Street from our vantage point. And it's a ball and a strike. Peavy, the Texas Lutheran sophomore out of Houston, 6'3", 225 is Peavy, coming off a great season where he batted .333 in 41 games, including 5 homers, 37 RBIs, 16 total extra base hits for the utility man. 1-1. Check swing. Did he go around? No call. It looks like he did not on the outside slider. It's 2 balls and a strike. Peavy also wearing number 45 tonight. He was wearing a different number. He was wearing number 0 last night. River Monsters wearing a different uniform combination. They were in their traditional new uniforms for 2024. They're green with blue pinstripes. So that one's grounded over to the shortstop side. Riley Bender is there. It will be a long throw to first, but it will be there in time to end the inning. So Xavier Perez's 2-out double comes up with nothing and is left on base. We go bottom one. Generals will have their offense due up. No score here, bottom one, here on TCL TV. Stay with us. Back here on the banks of the Guadalupe River for the bottom of the first inning. No score here between Seguin and Victoria's. We'll take a look now for the first time at your Victorian Generals starting lineup at 26-10, 10-3 in the second half. Connor Clark sitting at the top of the order, replacing Anthony Avalos, who gets his second night off in a week. Travis Bragg and Riley Bender are now both in the lineup for the first time together since the month of July started. Evan S. Laxton going all the way up to number 6. Jacob Sanchez back in the order, no surprise. And 7, 8, 9, Diaz, Schmidt, and Mendoza Jr. Diego Diaz in the outfield for the first time this summer, as he is now moving from his traditional either third base or second base position. He's now moving to right field. He was in a pinch running or a pinch defensive position at right field at some point this past week, but now he will be in right field for a full game tonight. Drew Schmidt now moving over to third because of that, and Mario Mendoza Jr. will be slotted in at second base as well. So a very traditional lineup for the most part, except with no Anthony Avalos and no Cameron Nickens to face Riley Kentner, of course. We mentioned, obviously, a disastrous outing in just 2 1/3 innings of work against Acadiana. His last go-around in his Seguin homecoming return last week, but each of his now 2 outings have now come away from Smokey Joe Williams. As Connor Clark leads things off, as we mentioned, 3 for 6 is Clark in this series. He has been nothing short of spectacular against these Stars this week. So that one is low for ball 1. Clark, we mentioned, 3 for 6 with a run scored, an RBI, 2 walks, and 3 stolen bases. All 3 of those stolen bags coming 2 nights ago on Tuesday in Game 1 of the series. 1-0 from Kettner is on the inside corner for strike 1. Clark this summer in 8 games is 6 for 24, exactly 250. Is the batting average, 5 runs, a double in RBIs, 7 walks, 6 Ks, and 4 stolen bags. That one is a high fly ball. Will go foul into the Seguin bullpen. 1 ball and 2 strikes here for Clark. UT Tyler Patriot, who appeared in 36 games as a true freshman for UT Tyler. A 301 season in 36 games, batted .301. Was the male athlete of the year across all sports for UT Tyler. 1-2 is above Clark's head, and it will be a 2 ball and 2 strike count now. Tony Perez, of course, leading his guys here to Victoria. His pitching staff, however, last in 6 pitching categories across the league, including both ERA and opponent batting average against. So that one is inside for ball 3. His pitching staff, a team ERA of just under 6, 5.93 as a team, his staff is. And opponent batting average sitting at a woeful 0.258. Victoria, a team ERA of 3.78 and a 2.26 opponent average. Both of those are number 2 in the league behind Brazos Valley, as that one's grounded over to the shortstop side. There to make the play is Ryder Hernandez at short. It's a bang-bang play at first, but routine ground ball, and it's a 6-3 ground out to begin his bottom of the first inning, 1 away. So Damian Whitfield will now come to the dish. Whitfield had a spectacular night a night ago. Obviously, of course, highlighted by that insane double in the third inning where he was able to somehow reach base. And then, of course, had the RBI triple in the top of the 10th inning that provided much-needed insurance for Victoria in a game they won by 2 runs. So the insurance run ended up not mattering, but still spectacular indeed, considering Whitfield has been much more of a run creator than run producer this summer, as that one is inside for strike 1 to the Atlanta native and UTRGV Vaquero. The 0-1. Inside, and that one's behind Damian's head. He has to back all the way out of the batter's box. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike here to Whitfield. 10 walks, 10 stolen bases, and 5 runs scored in his last 5 games, including 5 stolen bases last night alone, which brought him up to 28 in total, which is tied for second in the league in the category, with his teammate Anthony Avalos, who has the night off. That one's outside, 2 balls and a strike. Whitfield leading the league now officially in batting average at .345, tied for second in the league in runs with 27, tied for 9th in the league in hits with 29, leading the league in walks with 33. 2-1s inside, 3 balls and a strike. Whitfield also, as we mentioned, tied for second in stolen bases. Number 1 in the league, still in on-base percentage at .533, tied for third in the league in slugging at .429, and number 1 in the league in amongst active TCL players in OPS at a stunning .962. 3-1. Fouled off, back to the screen. So that one was able to, looks like, get around the screen and get into the galleries. That one was able to get through the small gap, basically, that separates the top of the screen and the main aisle that separates the box seats from the gallery here at Riverside. Payoff from Kettner is grounded over to the second base side. There to make the play is Patrick McClellan, who will just soft toss it to first. And his 2 payoff pitches that lead to 2 routine groundouts here in this bottom of the first inning. It extends the pitch count here for Kettner, as he's quickly at 12 pitches through 2 batters, but it is 2 routine groundouts regardless, so it's 2 quick outs here, bottom 1. So now Travis Bragg returns to the order for the first time since Tuesday. Bragg with a TCL Player of the Week in his back pocket, that happening just a little over a month ago. But more importantly, Bragg an RBI in 7 of his last 8 contests. 22 games, batting .328, soon to be Texas State Bobcat left-handed hitter. Outside for ball 1 to Bragg. 19 runs, 22 hits, 4 doubles, a triple, 13 runs driven in, 17 walks, 15 punch-outs, 7 stolen bases for Bragg, and number 2 in the league behind Whitfield in OPS at .891 amongst active players. 1 out. High drive into left. This could possibly drop in front of Xavier Perez, and it will, who sits out there in left. So Travis Bragg, similar to Xavier Perez, will have a 2-out base hit where he reaches base. And it's a 2-out base runner here for Victoria, here bottom 1. So now Riley Bender will get an opportunity here, as he returns also for the first time since Tuesday, had the night off last night. Bender still number 1 in the league in runs driven in with 23. Tied for third in the league in doubles with 7. In 27 games, batting .262 is the UMHB Mary Hardin Baylor Crew infielder, the transfer from Abilene Christian and Kingwood native. First pitch from Kettner. Way outside. Great block there on the part by Wade Joyce to stay in front of it. 1 ball, no strikes. Bender went 1 for 3 on Tuesday night, but his 1 hit provided the go-ahead RBI, which ended up resulting in Victoria's 3-2 victory on Tuesday. Which the offense was much more quiet, but the pitching showed up as that one's grounded up the middle. It will be a slow roller and a quick fielder's choice in the middle of the infield, with Ryder Hernandez flipping to Patrick McClellan to end the inning. So similar, 4 batters faced on each side through 1 inning. We'll go top 2. Both sides able to get a hit, but both leaving a runner on, and no score here at Riverside Stadium. standings across the Texas Collegiate League. We didn't mention where Seguin sits in all of this. As you see, they're at the bottom of the barrel, 11-25, 15 games behind Victoria in the Texas Division, 5-9 in the second half, which means they are 6 games back of Brazos Valley in those second half standings. That means they would have to overcome, more likely that, in order to win the second half and clinch that second semifinal spot, which right now Brazos Valley is in full control of, even with the fact that they are not playing tonight. Seguin can possibly get a leg up on them and try to at least bite into that large deficit with a victory tonight as we go top 2. Right now, we just have 1 hit and 1 runner left on base for both sides. Both sides able to get runners on with 2 outs, but not able to do anything with them. Those will be 5, 6, 7 due up for Seguin. Ryder Hernandez leads things off. We had a 2-run home run a night ago. So that one's grounded foul by Hernandez for strike 1. Hernandez, a second half signing for Tony Perez, and a key one indeed, at least for his side, as he is depending on his second half signings to really try to pursue this Seguin squad if they have any hope to make the postseason. Hernandez, the Cedar Park native out of Incarnate Word, as that one's grounded foul, no balls, 2 strikes. Here against Hayden Tronson back out there. Hernandez, 10 for 36 in 10 games, batting .278 with 6 runs scored, a home run, 6 RBIs, 5 walks, and 8 strikeouts. In this series, he's 1 for 6, his 1 hit being the one he left the yard with last night, deep left center field at Smokey Joe. 0-2 from Johnson. Foul off the end of the bat, and Hernandez narrowly stays alive. He'll do it again. Hernandez coming off a season out in Incarnate Word where he batted .235, 22 runs, 32 hits, 12 doubles, 2 triples, a home run, and 27 runs driven in. So that one's grounded up the middle, but Riley Bender's there. He looks to make a 3rd defensive play of the night, and he will. And it'll be 1 quick out here at top 2. As Xavier Arias, a Seguin veteran and local product, will come now to the dish. With 1 away here in the second, Arias in his 2nd summer in Seguin. Junior out of Lavernia, Texas, and the Texas Lutheran outfielder. 15 games is 12 for 48, still exactly batting .250. 5 runs scored, 3 doubles, 4 runs driven in, 4 stolen bases, 6 walks, 7 punch-outs, 4 stolen bags, and 3 errors in the field for Arias as that first pitch is upstairs for Tronson, ball 1. The month of July, Arias is 5 for 16 with 2 doubles, a run driven in, and 3 walks and a stolen bag. Just 1 for 8 in this series is Xavier. 1 out. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Slider command appears to be on point so far early from Tronson. See if that looks to be at least the staying path going forward for the right-hander. And Alvin Community College Dolphin, as that one's inside for ball 3. And they are going to argue that Arias was hit inside on the wrist. It appears that he was. So 1 out base runner here for Seguin, their 2nd base runner of the night, as Tronson appears to have hit Xavier Arias unintentionally, it appears, on that inside fastball that just would not break back into the zone. So Tronson at 16 pitches will now have a runner on here with 1 away. Double play ends the inning for Victoria. And Hunter Ham will now come back to the dish. Ham back to the lineup for the first time since game 1 of the series. On 3rd base tonight is Ham, who was even caught for Seguin this season. His first pitch is outside for ball 1. A pickoff throw made by Evan S. Slackson that was on target, but was just offline as Jacob Sanchez had to get off the base to stay in front of it. 1 ball, no strikes to Ham. 3 for 14 in the month of July is Ham, the Katy native out of Hill College, the freshman. 3 runs scored, a double, 3 RBIs, 3 walks, and a stolen base in that span. Ham has struck out 16 times at the plate, batting .216 in 17 games this summer. 1 out. Inside, and that one hits Hunter Ham. Back-to-back hit batters for Hayden Tronson, as 2 of his inside fastballs have not been able to stay in front of the zone. And now quickly it is 2 hit batters and 2 runners on here with just 1 out here in the second. Hayden Tronson, both unintentionally. Nothing, of course, coming from Seguin's dugout, obviously, and no surprise considering this is the 2nd inning and Tronson has been mostly on point for much of the night. Like we mentioned, he came into tonight with 8 more hits than strikeouts and 1 more walk than strikeouts. And now he's given up 2 hit batters. To now have Xavier Arias sitting in scoring position and Ham sitting in first here for Whit Joyce. Freshman out of Lytle. That one's grounded over to the shortstop side. Riley's there, over to second for 1. Long throw from Mario is in time. No, it is not. Off the bag was Jacob Sanchez at the first base rally. And it will be just a fielder's choice as Jacob Sanchez says his right foot was on the first base bag. The bases umpire says it was off, and it will just be out number 2. And runners at the corner, so a fielder's choice that retires the runner at second base in the form of Hunter Ham. So now we go to the 9-hole hitter in Colin Correjo as Arias is able to advance to third. He sits 90 feet away. And Ham is tagged down the fielder's choice as Witt grounds into one. That has a check swing, and going around is Colin Correjo for strike 1. Correjo in the lineup for the first time this series, 10 games, just 4 for 29 is Correjo. The Leander, Texas, and UTSA redshirted freshman. 1-0. Just below the knee, or 0-1 I should say, is just below the knees, and it's an even count, 1 ball, 1 strike. So 2 hit by pitches. Nearly could have had a double play that end the inning for Hayden Johnson, but not able to finish the deal was Jacob Sanchez at first base, who had his foot off the bag. 1-1 to Correjo is a swing and a miss, low in the dirt, strike 2. A strike away is Johnson from escaping the jam. 5-6-7 will be due up for Victoria bottom 2. Wind not much of a factor today. 90 degrees and partly cloudy skies here in Victoria. It feels like 93 with 63% humidity. 1-2, running is with Joyce on the 1-2 pitch, but it is a foul ball on the part of Correjo. So Joyce, who thought he could easily have a stolen bag on that effort, will not collect one. Joyce, in his first game of the month of July, has yet to collect a stolen base this TCL campaign and was primed for his first right there, but will have to go back on the foul ball. Strike away is Johnson from escaping the jam. Joyce once again just freely running, and now he's caught in a pickle. He's between first and second, and Johnson doesn't realize that he's still walking. So Joyce is like, okay, I'll just take second base. As Hayden Johnson was completely unaware of the fact that Joyce was between first and second. He thought he was going to go back to first, but he let him go back regardless. So it is now runners at third and second, 2 in scoring position on the stolen base, if you want to call it that, for Joyce. That's a swing and a miss for strike 3. So Johnson gets out of the jam regardless and leaves 2 runners in scoring position. We go bottom 2, still no score. And a big jam escaping on the part of the Alvin Community College Dolphin and the right-hander. We go bottom 2 here on TCL TV. are the upcoming promotions here at Riverside Stadium. Tomorrow night, free ticket night, our final free ticket night of the summer, presented by our friends at Atzenhofer with the final game of the series against Seguin, and then Strikeout Cancer Night a week from Saturday on July 27 with the Brazos Valley Bombers in town. Citizens Medical Center and TISD.net present to you pink jerseys for Striking Out Cancer, which will be auctioned out to fans here at Riverside Stadium, the final jersey auction of 2024. We're back here for the bottom of the second inning. We'll update the scorebook here for you. That now will suggest that we are in the bottom of the second. 5, 6, 7 will be due up to face Riley Kettner in his second inning of work, where he only threw 16 pitches to retire the first 4 hitters, allowed a single from Travis Bragg, but nothing more. Jacob Sanchez will lead things off at first base tonight. So that one's inside for ball 1. Sanchez back in the order for the first time since Tuesday. The nearly everyday first baseman who's been getting nearly an every other day off basically now the rest of the way from Michael Oros. So that one's inside for ball 2. Here from Kettner, Sanchez, number 12 in the league in batting average at .275 in 28 games. 15 runs scored, 25 hits, 3 doubles, a home run, 15 runs driven in, 16 walks, 23 punch-outs, and 5 stolen bags from the UTRGV Vaquero Sr. So that one is just low. 3 balls and no strikes from Kettner. Sanchez, though, 2 for his last 12 with 2 runs scored. He's been skittish at the plate as of recent. The 3-0 is inside. Cold strike 1, basically right down Main Street from Sanchez. Or to Sanchez, I should say. Both sides with only 1 registered hit tonight. Evan Laxton sitting on deck for Victoria. 3-1. Line drive in the left, and a great leaping catch on the part of Ryder Hernandez, as he's able to jump up and grab that one out of the reach, as Sanchez thought he had an opportunity to get one in the left center field, but Hernandez says no thank you, and it is 1 quick out here, bottom 2. As Laxton will now come back to the dish, as he returns now behind the plate once again for Victoria, one of 3 Victoria Generals now representing as catchers alongside Hal Perez and Dylan Flores. So that one's grounded just foul by Slaxton, strike 1. Slaxton in 3 games has been absolutely stellar at the Galveston Whitecap. 3 for 11 in 3 games. His 3 hits include a double, 3 runs scored, 2 runners already driven in, 3 walks, a strikeout, and a stolen base in just 3 times suiting up in a General's uniform. The 0-1. Inside for ball 1, low. That's the slider, it appears, and 12-6 curve. Having a roller coaster of a night from a command perspective for Kettner so far. The 1-1. High fly ball to right center. Going after it is Dakota Howard and Xavier Arias. Howard says he's there, and he'll make the catch in right center field with the shades on, and it's 2 quick outs here, bottom 2. Both starting pitchers in a rhythm early. And now Diego Diaz, the UTSA Roadrunner, will get an opportunity here with nobody on, 2 away. Diaz in right field tonight, we mentioned his first time starting in the outfield for Michael Oros. In 8 games, 5 for 27 is Diaz. 3 runs scored, a double, 4 runs driven in. 8 walks, 8 strikeouts, and 6 stolen bags. That one's outside for ball 1 to Diaz. Diaz 1 for his last 19, but in that span, he's been able to produce in other ways. He's stolen 4 bags. He's walked 6 times. 6 of his 8 walks of the summer, as that one's inside for ball 2. Scored twice. He's got the double, being that one of hit in those 19 tries. He's produced 3 of his 4 RBIs, so he's been able to find ways to be involved in ball games, even if it doesn't involve himself reaching base on hits. 2-0 is just inside. Close call either way, but it will be once again a 3-0 count here on Kettner, his second of this inning. Working with a little bit faster pace is the right-hander from West Texas A&M. So that one's inside, ball 4. 4-pitch walk here with 2 outs here to Diaz. It is his 7th walk in his last 20 plate appearances. It'll be a 2-out base runner again for Victoria for the 2nd consecutive inning. So Drew Schmidt will now come to the dish. At third base tonight is the UT Tyler Patriot and Schmidt. The Louisville, Texas native, who in 7 games is 5 for 19 with 5 runs scored, an RBI, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 2 stolen bags. But 0 for 3 with a walk last night as well as striking out. First pitch to Schmidt. Upstairs at the letters for strike 1. Slider that just broke the top of the zone to Schmidt. Coming off a season where he hit .215 and 23 starts, 33 appearances for UT Tyler, scoring 15 times and 11 extra base hits, including 3 home runs, stealing his Diaz on the 0-1. But he'll have to go back as that one's fouled back to the net by Schmidt. And a strike away from ending the inning is Kettner. We go back to the top of the order for Seguin as the 9-hole hitter Colin Correa was the last point where we left off in Seguin's lineup. So Johnson will already be going through the order for a second time to start the third, as both bullpens remain eerily quiet. Wind blowing out right now slowly towards left center. 0-2 to Schmidt. Inside, Schmidt's life flashes before his eyes, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. On that inside fastball from Kettner, that was just a little too high. Mentioned the only other game going on tonight across the TCL. Lake Charles and Acadiana be continuing their 4-game set with 2 nights now at Faubacker Field. Acadiana winning the first 2 contests. First one in 12 innings on Tuesday, and then a 7-2 victory last night. So that one's a high fly ball into shallow center. Coming in is Howard, but there the shortstop, Ryder Hernandez, makes the catch on the pop fly just beyond the outfield grass. And it is 2 quick outs and another retired in the form of Drew Schmidt, and it's just 4 batters faced again for Tyler Kettner. He has so far only had to get 2 runners on, and he has been running through smoothly, facing just 8 batters through 2 innings. We'll go top 3. Still no score here on Riverside Stadium and here on TCL TV. Back on the other side. General schedule as we now transition to the top of the 3rd inning. You see the upcoming schedule here for Victoria. Of course, the final 2 games of this series before ending the week at Pete Gouldsby Field against the Baton Rouge Rougarou, and then that gauntlet of 7 consecutive next week to conclude the regular season, starting with the makeup game in Southwest Louisiana against the Rougarou. So that one's outside for ball 1. Hayden Johnson facing the top third of this order once again to lead off this 3rd inning with Dakota Howard back at the dish. He's 0 for 1 tonight with a ground out to short. That began this one. 1-0's on the outside corner, but perfectly placed. Called for strike 1, even count. Generals, of course, following that Lake Charles makeup game this coming Monday, on what normally will be a league-wide off day, we'll then have 2 against Baton Rouge here in Victoria Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we'll have a 4-game series with Brazos Valley to conclude the regular season. What should be a thrilling matchup considering how hot each team is. Both teams a combined 14 consecutive victories. Victoria, a 6-game win streak. Brazos Valley, 8 consecutive wins. Having the night off tonight with their game in Baton Rouge canceled due to poor field conditions. Looking to play a doubleheader tomorrow starting at 5 o'clock. That one's grounded over to the second base side. Mario Mendoza picks it up in his chest, and that will be a routine ground out over to the first baseman for Jacob Sanchez, and it's one quick out here, top three. Aiden Tronson continues to rely on his defense, only one strikeout through 7 collected outs here on this Thursday night. Patrick McClellan will return to the dish. McClellan with a pop out to second base. Mendoza in his first come at the plate tonight. His first pitch he sees is line drive foul. That just goes beyond the third base coach for Seguin. There'll be no balls and 1 strike. McClellan, sophomore this season, coming into tonight in 36 played games. He's played in every single one for Seguin this season. Batted .238, 30 hits, 24 runs, 4 doubles, a home run, 11 runs driven in, 17 walks, 26 punchouts, and 10 stolen bags. His first home run of the summer coming last Sunday in a game that Seguin lost 6-5 in walk-off fashion. 1 ball and 1 strike here to the second baseman, McClellan. He was 1 for 8 in this series. A 2-run score, a walk, and a stolen base. That one's grounded over to the shortstop side, but there to make the play is Drew Schmidt, who has a one-hopper and has to recollect it, but it's 2 quick outs on 2 groundouts here, top 3. So now 2 quick outs here, top 3, and it will be Xavier Perez who now returns to the dish. Perez with the extra base knock back in the first that didn't result in anything, as Perez now has already 2 extra base hits in just 3 played games in a Seguin Monster uniform. So that one is outside for ball 1. Perez, Corpus Christi native, transferring to the University of Houston after spending his first 2 seasons at Texas State, where he redshirted a season ago. Now a redshirt sophomore is Perez, standing at 6 feet 205. 4 for 8 in this series coming into tonight. Now technically 5 for 9 in this series, with 2 extra base knocks and the home run last night and the double tonight. So it's 2 balls and no strikes to Xavier. 2 TCL veterans here at the dish who are on 2 different teams. Tronson was a member of the Brazos Valley Bombers a summer ago, now here in Victoria. Xavier, of course, called Victoria home last year before he joined Seguin last minute here in the second half, as that's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Tronson at Alvin Community College right now is a Dolphin, where he had an ERA just underneath 7. You'll see that upcoming in our Did You Know presented by Whataburger. Tronson as well, transferring schools, is in his freshman season. He only made 3 appearances for Eastern Oklahoma State. Eastern Oklahoma State. Not Oklahoma State, Eastern Oklahoma State. That's a swing and a miss for strike 2. And a strike away from a 1-2-3 inning is Tronson. Only 1 punch shot recorded tonight, looking for his second. On a night where he had 1 less strikeout than walks and 8 fewer strikeouts than hits allowed. 19 hits, 12 walks, 11 punch outs, Tronson coming into this one, even though he's thrown at least 6 innings in each of his last 3 starts. 2-2. Low, and a great block by Amos Laxon, who's able to keep it in front of him. There's no harm, no foul in it, as nobody is on base. But a full count pitch now awaits here for Perez. Bat boy able to receive more, able to gift off more baseballs to the home plate umpire tonight. Great crowd on hand here on this Thursday night.